The fact of the matter is that Pierre Poilievre has seen the Freedom Convoy as a significant opportunity from his perspective to mobilize, to have a platform, to connect with voters, probably to appeal to some of those voters who have been thinking about voting for the People's Party, to keep them in the Conservative tent and to try to get them behind his leadership claim. But now we're seeing some other folks throw in their hat, more notably former Premier of Quebec, Jean Charest, and also former leader of the Progressive Conservatives of Ontario, now Mayor Patrick Brown. Both of those individuals, formidable forces within the Conservative Party and the Conservative movement in Canada, as is Pierre Poilievre. But those other two have staked out a bit of a different position than Pierre Poilievre, more on the progressive side. And there's already been some bickering on Twitter, fights. I don't know. It's not like thumb wrestling, but anyways. We're seeing them duke it out on things like the NICAB and stuff like that, where there's been some jabs specifically between Patrick Brown and Pierre Poilievre on some of the more controversial policies of the Harper government. So yeah, but here's a prediction, and I shouldn't even make this prediction, but here's some predictions. Patrick Brown will be one to watch because he was very successful in getting the Ontario Progressive Conservative leadership. He's very well organized. He's very methodical. He understands and is good at putting boots on the ground. Charest will also be a force in this leadership, although it'll probably be very different. Think of Air War from Charest, building on his network over the last 30 years within the Conservatives and the Progressive Conservatives. And we have to say, if you're a conservative, true blue conservative, the L word, liberal, Jean Charest was the liberal leader of the province in Quebec, and also the liberal premier. Although liberal in Quebec usually means something a little different than in other
he really. I think last Sunday he was on Question Period talking to Evan Solomon about this, and he says he is not a liberal. He wants to make that clear, of course.
I know, but it's got to be tough. It's got to be tough. Like, let's face it, the Conservatives have just come off a leadership race where Aaron O'Toole, who throughout the race looked quite conservative and true blue and appealed to the base, and then turned to be more progressive. And there were a lot of conservatives, especially in the Conservative Federal Caucus, that were upset that he was progressive. So I don't know how Jean Charest can put a happy face on the fact that he actually was a provincial liberal in the province of Quebec, and that he should be and has been more progressive than others. I'm not sure if he can out-conservative Pierre Poilievre or even other more conservative-minded leadership hopefuls like Leslyn Lewin, perhaps. And the thing is, she's going to be another interesting dynamic and person to watch. Will she do better than last time? What will her role be? Who might she support in the future if she doesn't make it through to the very end? And she's going to be one to watch too, because she did very well in the last leadership. We'll see whether she can even up her game and do even better than she did last time in order to build a bigger base for herself within the Conservative Party.
And Nick, historically, as we've seen in these leadership races, sometimes it's the person polling second or third who usually comes out on top. I think most, in recent memory, there's a famous Liberal convention that you were at that had kind of a surprise ending, let's say.
Yeah, we're going to call these shotgun deals. Right? I'm not even sure that's the right turn of phrase. But these deals where two candidates, for example, would have perhaps a secret agreement to say, if one of the two comes ahead of the other, the person that is behind them will support them. One of the more recent and famous ones had to do with Gerard Kennedy of Ontario Liberal fame, when he was seeking the federal leadership, when he was up against Stéphane Dion. Those two had an arrangement where they agreed, the campaigns agreed, that whoever came ahead of the other would get the support. And that actually put Stéphane Dion ahead of Bob Rae and allowed him to capture the Liberal leadership. So it'll be interesting to see whether there might be similar types of secret or perhaps not so secret arrangement between like-minded candidates. And I would expect that the ones at the top of the list, Jean Charest and Patrick Brown, because they're both progressives, they're kind of fishing in the same sea for conservative might be a little more progressive minded. And those would be the two that probably be the top candidates to have some spoken, unspoken, secret, public arrangement that if one came ahead of the other, that support would swing to the person that got the greatest number of votes on the first ballot. That's assuming someone doesn't win on the ballot. But got to watch out for these shotgun political arrangements because sometimes they lead to crazy outcomes.
Nick, just going back to the board too, I see that the NDP has had a bit of a bump in popularity.
Yeah, exactly. And, the thing is one of the things we have to watch out for is that, we can see that, the People's Party is down a little bit. The Green Party is down a little bit. And, I would expect that some of that bump are from people that like the Greens, but are potentially looking at the New Democrats, because the New Democrats are very strong on the environmental front. And so, I think the New Democrats have to be watched as a bit of a parking space for voters that might be disaffected with the frontline parties.
Nick, I want to leave it there. I want to let you get back to your well-deserved vacation in the sun, away from the harsh Ottawa winter. So, as always, Nick, thank you very much.
Take it easy.